Hey guys, this is Rodolfo Martinez, athletic trainer once again with Figure It Out Baseball. This is the next part of our video series on how to incorporate weighted balls into our training and our throwing routines. Once you've started off with that initially, we can begin playing around with how you incorporate your weighted balls into your routine by changing some of the variables like we discussed. There are a couple principles to keep in mind before you go adjusting any of these, however. For starters, you want to avoid any sudden increases. This includes any increases in the weight of the ball, the distance that you're throwing it at, the amount of days you're throwing with them, and so on. Next thing to keep in mind is to stick to these 3 to 4 week blocks so that you're giving your training enough time to have an actual effect on your body. I'd also recommend going through at least 2 of these 3 to 4 week training blocks with the overload baseballs, with anything that's over the 5 ounce, before we incorporate the underload baseballs. And lastly, I'd recommend you start and end your session of catch with a regular 5 ounce baseball. Using these principles, you can experiment with whatever works best for your training. These other sample programs that you guys see here show how to effectively program with increased weight of the ball, with increased distance by incorporating them on your compression throws when you're coming in and throwing on a line, etc. So we have both beginner and advanced options here. So be sure to work through some of these easier progressions before jumping into the harder ones. The possibilities are endless though. So make sure you listen to your body and you follow some of these principles that I've outlined to make sure you're being safe in the process. Be sure to monitor how your arm feels, but also be sure to monitor your performance as well. Weighted balls certainly aren't for everyone, so you want to make sure they're actually improving your athletic performance rather than holding you back. The last thing I wanted to touch upon was how to use the underload baseballs. So these work especially well for pitchers because as you're coming in, you can use them to train the body to move fast at a position-specific distance at that 60 feet like you're going to be off a mound. A good way to start is to begin coming in with a regular 5 ounce baseball, doing your compression throws, coming in on line with that regular 5 ounce. Use a 4 ounce from 90 feet to 6 feet, and then do 10 throws with the 3 ounce at 60 feet. From there, switch back to your regular 5 ounce baseball for 10 more throws and see if there's a difference for you in terms of power. Remember, we want to start and end our session of catch with that regular 5 ounce baseball because as you go into practice, whatever you have, if it's a bullpen or whatever it may be for the course of that day, you want to make sure you're using the weight of the ball that you're actually going to be using, which is that standard regulation 5 ounce. Throwing, as you guys all know, is very individual. So these weighted balls certainly aren't for everyone, but they can be a powerful tool when they're implemented properly. I provided a few of these sample programs, as you guys have seen here, to get you started, but make sure you're paying attention to some of the general principles that I've outlined. These principles are going to be what helps you tailor it to your routine to leverage these weighted balls in a way that works for you, that improves your performance, and also keeps you safe. Because there is that injury risk. So we want to make sure we're training smart with them. Make sure you're working these things slowly to make sure they do agree with your body. Make sure it's something that is right for you. With this injury risk, you want to be very cautious with your approach and take it slowly, go very gradually and work in those 3 to 4 week blocks like I talked about. I hope this video series has helped clear up a lot of confusion that some of you guys may have had about weighted balls. It's a new tool, that's pretty popular. You'll see it on social media a lot nowadays. I just want to make sure you guys are using them in a way that works for you. Once again, my name is Rodolfo Martinez, athletic trainer with Figure It Out Baseball. If you want to check out some of my other videos on injury prevention tips and how to improve your performance, check out what I've got here and then also on my own website, lagasolina.pt. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Figure It Out Baseball. If you're watching on the figureitoutbaseball.com website, I hope you check out the Figure It Out Baseball store and grab yourself some gear to help support this totally free resource. If you're watching on YouTube, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you keep up with all the cool stuff that we do. For you podcast listeners, we've also got our podcast now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. Figure It Out Baseball, the home of hundreds of free videos from dozens of college and professional coaches and specialists from great schools like this. So tell your friends about figureitoutbaseball.com, the world's #1 online coaching tool.